Hello everyone. Let me know that you can see me and hear me. I am super excited to be chatting with you guys today. I am going to do the chat members only so I can keep up with you guys. And you can join by hitting the join button or the link in the description box if you would like to participate in the live chat. I am so excited for a session. Okay. Couple of announcements that I have to make. First of all, hello, excuse me. We can't like not talk about this. There she is. This is obviously the proof. So there's that line, but oh my God, she is everything and more that I imagined in record, like Godspeed, like literally timeline jumping. This book downloaded during my timeline jumping event in St. Thomas, and here she is now. Like our textbook. This is going to be the Universe Guru textbook. I'm so looking forward to being able to be like, okay, turn to page 251, and this is what we're talking about. So can't wait for you guys to have it. That's actually why I'm a little late today because I learned that right as I was hopping on at 11:11, it was being uploaded, and I'm like, no, 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 I need to like be available to energetically grid it as it's being uploaded. So that's why I decided I was gonna be late here. But this needed the right energy to be uploaded. So here she is, and you guys will be able to get her on 11:11, and yeah, I'm super excited. So today I actually am talking about this book and talking about the name, the power behind this book. So you guys know now, hopefully, most of you guys know that lady balls are scientifically called ovaries. And when we are in utero, when we're in our mother's womb, everyone actually starts off being a female. And that is the default gender is actually female. And then over time in the womb, if it's going to be a male baby, its balls, lady balls turn into male balls and it switches over and then it's a male baby. So the feminine power, female power is actually the dominant gender. It's the dominant power. And honestly, the way that I see it is that women were given so much power that God was literally confused and going, okay, well, we gave one gender too much power, so we gotta make up with it somehow. And how it was made up for was to give the masculine the physical power. So yes, men have more testosterone, 15 times more testosterone than women do, but in every other realm, women have more power. And this is so powerfully showcased right now in our world because when women have been given the same rights as men, look at like if you take a top 1% woman and a top 1% man, as long as she's actually in her feminine and creating from that, she is just going to be way more powerful. Like if you look at what's happening with the education rates right now, women are more educated. If you're looking at home buyers rate, women are buying more homes. Like single women are buying more homes, buying them at younger ages. Like women just have so much power, and that's why I have so much empathy and respect and compassion for men. And that's why I get very angry at women when they're not acting according to their power. Like, why are you wasting such a divine, brilliant gift that you have been given, which is to be incarnated here in the feminine body? And here's the other thing. All my feminine identified gay men, I see you, okay? I see you, I know you. Look at what happens to gay men who are feminine energy identified. Okay, they become the celebrities. They're the best designers. They're the best fashionistas. They're the best this and that, the interior designers, the fashion design, like in their whatever realm they're taking up, whether it's architecture, writer, whatever. How come when feminine energy gets involved, when feminine intelligence gets involved, when feminine lady balls get involved, all of a sudden you make it into the top 10, top 1%? Why is it so much easier to be in the top realm when you are using feminine energy, whether you're a man or a woman? So they're here to shine their light and show us, look, even when a man takes on feminine power like lady balls, all of a sudden you're in power. You're the best of the best. You're the elite. You're the top 1%. You're the top 1% within the top 1%. So stop acting like a peasant and stop forgetting that we are the dominant gender, that we were actually given, we're the original gender. Everyone starts off as a female in the womb. This is a scientific fact. You can look it up. Okay. So if you show up in my world as a woman, trying to look and act like you are, you have no power, you're disempowered, you're gonna get a lash whipping, okay? Or what is it? Tongue whipping from me. You're gonna hear it because I'm gonna tell you to stop acting like a peasant. Just because you haven't activated your personal power doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because you can't see it, just because you're addicted to suffering doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Every single woman, and even men who are using feminine energy, my gay men that are feminine identified, when you start activating that divine feminine power, all of a sudden work becomes easier, relationships become easier, health becomes easier, the world becomes your playground. So this is really what this book is about. It's activating that divine feminine power, which also includes our savage energy. And it's really going to serve as a textbook for all my lectures here on YouTube and even my paid content. So super excited about that. The other thing I want to mention is that we are only a few hours left for the Fame course for the pre-order price. You can still buy it after that. The price is just going to go up because we were in the pre-order right now. So I'm throwing that link in the description box. It's also in the chat. It's also going to be in the comments afterwards. For those of you guys being called towards it, this is the time to sign up. The OG original gender. Oh my God, Ashley, you crack me up. That is hilarious. Okay, and that's why we need to have compassion for men. This is why they are all of a sudden so disempowered. We need more male groups now empowering men because all of these years when women had forgotten their power, we were disempowered. But now we know our power, and all of a sudden we're just rising, literally rising, and taking up those top positions. Welcome to Level Up Queens Moon. Happy to have you. And so what it means to be in your lady balls, the source of your ovarian power, is that you are connected to your body, to your emotions. You are knowing of your divinity. You are knowing of your animal self. This is what I call all of these things are your feminine intelligence. And then working in the realm of logic and rational thinking. You have to be able to add in that masculine flavor, that masculine energy. Otherwise, you're just a hot ball of hormones and emotions. And from that realm, you're just cuckoo. So this is where the intelligent woman, the full embodied woman, the lady balls woman, the full source of her female body woman, or my gay men that are feminine identified, you're going to want to know your emotions, know how to process your emotions, be connected to your savage side, be connected to your source of divinity, and then work with logic, and then work in logic. Because when you lose the logic part and you lose the rational thinking part, then you're just a hot mess. Then you're the puddle of water without the riverbed, and you think you're a river, but you can't be the river without the riverbed, right? We've talked about this before. So feminine intelligence is it's strong on the inside, it's grounded on the inside, it's connected on the inside, it's plugged in on the inside, it's rested, it's full of pleasure, and therefore it can be soft on the outside. Masculine displays of power are very different, and that's why their balls are on the outside, ours are in the inside, right? Like the God is literally playing this game with us. Let me read to you the back cover from the book. So it starts off by saying, why lady balls? Like a lot of things between the masculine and the feminine, the divine has given us physical clues between their innate differences. The display of male power is represented on the outside of the body, clearly visible as a constant visual reminder and cheerleader of male power. Lady balls, technically referred to as ovaries, are hidden, safely tucked away within the mysterious depths of the female womb, holding the ability to create human life if the situation demands it. This physical representation of female power and intelligence is the divine boldly showcasing how vastly different and often misunderstood feminine strength is. So mysterious and hidden is our personal power and strength that even women have long forgotten it. And I have more, but that part is like hiding it, so I'll just leave it at that and let you read it on 1111 on Amazon. But you have forgotten. You know how when something is important to you and you're trying to safe keep it and then you safe keep it so much that you forget where you hid it? Has that ever happened to anyone? Raise your hand. Like literally let me know in the chat right now. This happens to me all the time where I'm like, oh, I got to put this somewhere safe. And then I put it somewhere so safe that I literally forget. And then I'm walking around asking my kids and my husband, where did I put that thing? Right? So this is what happened with our feminine strength. God safe kept it and put it in our womb. And it's so safe that we've forgotten that it's there. And then we show up in the world with male intelligence instead of feminine intelligence, with female intelligence. And then we're like confused when we are not getting the response that we are desiring from the world, when we're not getting the results that we're desiring from the world. So this is where your feminine strength is. And even my gay men, you have the same energetic makeup because this is who you're choosing to represent here. You have decided for one reason or another that you are going to represent the divine feminine, even though you are born in a male body. And because that's what you're choosing, you have the energetic lady balls. Okay, you've got that same energy going. And my women that have had their ovaries removed for whatever reason, for whatever reason, you still have that energetic makeup. That energetic body, you can't remove that. It's built into your system. And so for you, your mystery, your intelligence, your power is inside. It's not outside. And because it's inside, you have to be careful not to forget it. Don't keep it so much that now you have forgotten that you had this power. Okay? So where you think you need to be loud and you need to be doing this, don't. Don't. Wherever you think you need to be chasing, don't. Okay? Wherever you think you need to be hustling, nope, that's not how we create. That is not feminine intelligence. Okay, you have your masculine container where you can move with emotional control, where you can move with that logic and rational. You need to be able to play the game of the earthly planes, but all of your intelligence and your power resides inside of you. You have to dig deep for it sometimes, and you cannot display it the way the masculine displays it. God didn't give it to us that way. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Who is excited about 11/11? Oh my God, can you believe it's almost here? Like, I cannot believe, like, on July 15th is when I started writing this book. So, July 15th, 2023. And I completed it in like 6 weeks. And then after that point, it's been in editing and formatting. But this is like record time. What is it, like 4 months total? 4 months total. Like from the idea to like release date. I think it's less than 4 months actually. Yay, me too. I was engaged and he wanted me to have his kids and stay home. 2 days before the wedding, he wanted a prenup. I said no and we broke up. I'm disappointed, but he showed me he just wanted to use me. That or maybe the prenup could have been worked so that it benefited you. Prenup doesn't always mean that one party benefits. There's always a way for you to win. Like I believe that women get to win. Like I believe my client, you get to win under any circumstance. So yes, that's one option. Another option is to get the prenup to work in your favor. I've had plenty of people do that. There's always options, and there's always more options than the eye can see. That's the thing you have to remember with feminine intelligence, is that in the masculine world, it's all about what can I see in front of me. That's not feminine intelligence. Feminine intelligence is like, okay, I see this one option in front of me, but what are the infinite potentials, all the other options inside that I haven't put my attention on, and therefore they haven't been created. That's how it has to be. Whatever is presented to you, can you make it work in your situation? Can you make it work in your situation? Thank you. I was thinking of it as in my masculine. Remember, our biggest potential, our intelligence, does not come from our masculine, it comes from our feminine. That's why I'm calling it lady balls, because I want you to have this on your nightstand. I want you to have this in your living room, constantly reminding you that feminine intelligence is not the same as masculine intelligence. It's very different. That's why they have such a hard time understanding us, but they know our power. It's because they don't have that kind of access to their lady balls, to their ovaries, the way that we do. They just don't. Mina, yesterday I was falling asleep. I had this thought that came to me. This book is like the Bible, is going to stay with us for millions of years. Amen, girl. Amen. And it's literally timeless because the concepts that I teach in here are timeless. We have just forgotten. You used to know this, your ancestors used to know this. It used to be passed down generation to generation in goddess mystery school, from mom to child, from grandma to mom, like all of that stuff, from aunt to daughter, aunt to niece, cousin to cousin, friend to friend. And now we stopped doing that. So then we had to bring it up, bring it back, and we had to create the social medias so that we can replicate ourselves and do it faster and stronger and bigger and bolder. And that's literally what we're doing. Okay. Are the details of feminine intelligence in the book? The book is feminine intelligence, the whole thing. I created this book and I graded it so that even if you didn't read it, even if someone didn't buy the book, if they're just scrolling on Amazon and they see the title of this book, something awakens in them. They're like, lady balls? Hmm. Okay. I believe God is the best marketer on the planet. Like there is no better marketer than God. God understands us so well. God understands marketing so well. It's humans that have become peasants. Because when this title came to me on January 15th, I'm sorry, July 15th, 2023, I was like, no, anything but that title, God. I cannot even say this title. What is my husband going to say? What are my kids going to say? What are my in-laws going to say? That was the first thing that came to me. I was like, please, God, change the title. For a whole week, while I was writing the book, I kept arguing with God, saying, please, I beg you, I've done everything, have I not, that you have asked of me? I'm just asking you, please change the title. And God was like, nope, that's the title. And then I think it was the second or third week that I was writing this book, I got the download of what Lady Balls actually means. And I was like, that can't be true. So I looked it up. I'm like, is it true that scientifically lady balls are our ovaries? I did not know this before I started writing this book. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh my God, that's what that means? Wow. So then my second kind of negotiation with God, I said, okay, well, if that's what that means, God, can we just name it ovarian power? Like that also says the same thing, right? God was like, nope, we're doing lady balls. I tried everything within me to every case that I can think to bring it. And then recently, I think this was like within the last week, I was finally told why. Okay. This is the answer that I got from God. God said, your ideal client, the person that desperately needs your work, the reason that you were literally created and incarnated into this planet is self-aware Barbie. Do you think that a self-aware Barbie is going to be sitting on Amazon or listening to podcasts or seeing your book with the name Ovarian Power and going, yes, that's exactly what I need? And I'm like, oh, wait, no. They would roll their eyes. They would roll their eyes so much that their eyes would go into the back of their heads. Because self-aware Barbies do not respond to words or phrases like ovarian power. They do not. And for the first time, I understood God's message. I'm like, oh my God, when the self-aware Barbie hears the word lady balls, before the word registers in her brain, she would have bought the book. This is why I let God do my marketing. This is why. Because what God can see, what Source can see, what the quantum can do for you, your peasant brain can just, it can't do it. There is no way in hell that I myself would have chosen this name. Like, I had to like imagine how my in-laws were gonna react, and I was like freaking out. I asked my husband, "Are you sure you're going to be okay with this name? You're not gonna," he was like, "If that's the name that you got, that's gonna be the name." I had conversations with my kids around this name to make sure because I'm a member of a family unit. My actions, my decisions, my words, everything that I put out impacts them because we are one unit. And that's how I was with this name. But afterwards, now that I get God's full picture, when God revealed the whole thing, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I questioned you. I'm so sorry that I went into my peasantry and I questioned the name that you had chosen for this book because I see now why it's so divinely perfect. And that's why we have to stop asking questions and just do the thing that's being told, that's being said. Is the book available for pre-order? I don't see it on Amazon. It will not be available on pre-order. We are doing the massive gridding energy thing on 11/11. That's when it's going to be available. Everyone's going to get it on 11/11. In fact, what you should know is that for the first 3 days, the price will be reduced. So I'm doing a pre-order price, even though it's not a pre-order. It's like an early bird price. Let's call it that, early bird price. So from 11/11 to 11/15, it's going to be the reduced price for Kindle and for um, paperback. But then on 11/15, the price goes up. That's 3 days, right? 12, 13. Yeah, that's 3 days. So I would grab it as whoever's on my email, like the second it goes live, I'm gonna shoot out an email. And if I'm sleeping, go if it's midnight at 11:11, wherever you're at, you can go at midnight and it should be live. So you could just Google, like go into Amazon and say Mina Irfan and it should show up. My first book obviously is available, and the hardcover version of this and Audible should be available soon. I'll have the date for you guys soon. And the hardcover and Audible for you will be available later. But right now, we've got the paperback and Kindle coming this Saturday. Super excited. Everything I do is chosen by God every single day. The school that I went to, the topics that I chose to study, my branding on YouTube, the things that I wear, who I married, like every single thing has been a path of me following God's orders. There's never anything that I just do haphazardly. So there were a few people freaking out about the name and emailing my team and freaking out because they didn't know that ovaries equals, you know, uh, lady balls. And even when we explained to them, they were freaking out. And I was like, you know what, babes, just let the peasants go. Just let them go. Because there's some people that are just very slow and it takes them longer. Drop them. They're not the ideal client anyways. They're not the ideal reader. God has created me for a very specific niche audience. Those are my people. And drop the peasants. I'm like, don't even get into like an email back and forth with them. Just block them. So the people that get it, get it. Those are our people. We don't chase people. We don't convince. We don't explain. I would absolutely pick up your book in Barnes& and Noble based on the title. Yep, it's going to be in bookstores soon. I wanted to get it to you guys as soon as I could. So that's why 11/11, all of that is happening. But Barnes& and Noble, bookstores, all of that is coming. You guys know this book is going to be huge. Like I already know what's in it. Every single person that's read it has been like, this is going to blow up. It's going to be huge. So yes, you're going to be able to buy it in all the bookstores and all that fun stuff. I'm super excited for it. Yeah. What else is coming up for you guys when you tap into that source of female power and not just doing life from the masculine all the time? Like, where in your life are you still using masculine power at the expense of your feminine power? Because let me tell you, your life is going to be so limited if you're still doing that. Which course do you recommend to help connect with God and align with your purpose? I think all of my courses have that sort of thing built on, but if I was to say one course, I would say Sajda, because that one is literally you handing yourself over to God as like a channel. So I would say Sajda would be the biggest one that's like zoomed in onto that topic. Less explaining and talking when tapping into the womb power. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything you create awakens me. Thank you, universe, and your mom for creating you. Thank you, Bella. Great title. It got my attention. I think God really knew what it was doing. Really. It's so weird because I was recently interviewed for a male podcast. I don't think that interview is live yet, but I'll share it on my community tab when it is. And I thought that when the book, like in my mind, when I first started writing this book, I thought that it was going to be super awkward for me to talk about this book, especially with the title. And that's why I was arguing with God. I usually don't, I'll be honest with you. But this one was just so shocking to even my own nervous system. And I was like, no, But he brought up the book. We talked about it and I talked about, male balls versus female balls. And just like a doctor or a scientist can talk about scientific things without it being weird, I was able to do it in a very professional way, and it was not weird at all. And this was a very masculine energy man, and it was not weird for me at all. So it's so interesting how we think we're not going to be ready, but like God has a bigger plan, and we're we're ready exactly when we need to be ready. I just did that interview a few days ago, and I was so ready to talk about it. It was not awkward at all. So I'm just like, thank you, God. Embodiment is our communication. Absolutely. It is our energetic blueprint. It's our energetic receipt. It is everything. It really is. I feel this when I try to figure things out with my mind instead of just feeling into my body and using that information as guidance. Bingo. And we all do this. We all have our self-aware Barbie moments. I know I do. Now, the other thing I've done in this book is something I haven't really taught you guys before. It's in the Million Dollar Babe course, but I haven't talked about it a lot. Is that to make it more useful for you guys to understand which stage in self-aware bar, because each stage has three stages within it, like three phases within it, because it's like a continuum. So what I did is in the section about self-aware Barbies, I actually broke down the three sections for you guys and explained it so that you can kind of follow along and take the quiz in here to see which phase you're in, because that also changes the game. Like, for example, I find phase one self-aware Barbies the most annoying to work for. They're completely uncoachable. I can't stand working for them. And I just have to like literally energetically filter them out. They are so super uncoachable that they belong in therapy. They just do not belong in coaching. I don't enjoy working with them. It's like, girl, you're not ready yet. Bye. And so I am like, let me explain this to them so they understand what work they need to be doing to even be ready for my work. Because you have to build up to it, girl, sometimes. Like, and that's okay. I broke up with my boyfriend last night. I was so activated by your sacred savage energy. He is a full provider, but he needs that push. I am meant to be a wife. Beautiful. And so, what was keeping him from marrying you? Like, why would he be a boyfriend and not be a husband? Like, what's going on over there? Let me tell you guys the story. I actually have shared this a long time ago, but maybe I haven't shared it recently. So, while I was in real estate, I first started doing like residential real estate, right? Like selling condos and homes to people. And then I eventually, very quickly, moved into investments where I was working with people that are investing in real estate. So they were buying properties and rehabbing them and flipping them, or they were buying 2 or 3 or 4 unit buildings and renting them out, or, they were doing like more projects. They were investors. And so my mom taught me, I was in real estate with my mom, and she said that real estate is all about selling, is basically all about relationship building. The better you have, the ability to create relationships with people, the better you're able to sell. So I started connecting with people that I had went to high school with, or people that I went to college with, like people that I knew so I can, build sort of my roster of real estate clients. So I connected with one of my friends from high school who was a contractor, and he was buying up massive amounts of properties and rehabbing them. And through him, I learned, I met all these other guys that were doing the same, and these guys were actually from my culture. So these are Pakistani Indian men, and in my culture, we never got conditioned out of the providing thing. So these guys, I remember having a conversation with them. We were like hanging out together, talking about, oh, great job, you closed on that. What are we buying next, right? So I'm trying to like get them secured for the next project. And all of a sudden I end up saying, I'm like, I'm so proud. Like I look at my friend that I went to high school with, and I'm like, who would have knew that you would like in your 20s end up being a multimillionaire? Like, because I knew how much of a nerd he was in high school, right? So I'm just like, you're freaking amazing. Like what motivates you? Like, how did you go from that kid in high school to like this real estate mogul? And he goes, and his like friends are all like nodding. He's like, well, we gotta do what we gotta do. Like my mom's pressuring me. I gotta get married. I gotta provide for my family. I gotta have the babies, right? Like, and they're just kind of like matter of fact that like we're working so hard and we're gonna provide for our future wife and our kids. And none of them like were married. They're in their 20s, right? So I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Cool, right? Later on, as I'm like working with these guys more and they're becoming more comfortable with me, I hear things like, "Oh, I'll meet up with you for the meeting, but I gotta run quick because like I'm picking up my girlfriend and we're going here." And now, like I'm like, "Oh, okay, well they have girlfriends, right?" I'm a little confused because we usually don't have girlfriends in my culture. Then, as I got to know them a little bit better, I started hearing things that are just disturbing to me. I'm hearing things like, they're hanging out with their girlfriend and like she has to pay for her plane ticket because they're flying to Mexico. She has to pay half of this. Or they're having conversations of like, no, 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 I paid for lunch. You're definitely paying for dinner. And I'm just grossed out, because I know how much these guys are worth. You have to understand that I was a real estate agent, but I was also a mortgage broker. So I'm not just guessing how much these guys, like how much they were worth. I literally have access to their bank records, their financial documents, okay? And these guys are really, really rich. And now they're like penny pinching and like nickeling and diming their girlfriends. So I was talking with my mom and she was like, stay out of it. It's none of your business, right? And I can't help myself. It's like bothering me. Like all of a sudden, these guys were like here for me and they just like fell. And I'm so annoyed. So I couldn't help it. And I didn't ask the question to the other guys that weren't like my high school friend, but I had to ask him. So we're waiting for a closing. We're in the closing room. The lawyer, we're waiting on the lawyer, we're waiting on the realtor, and we're just hanging out over there waiting for the closing. And I just can't help it. So he brings up his girlfriend. So I'm like, listen, you remember that conversation where we were like, you're doing all this amazing stuff, you're making all this money, and you're gonna provide for your wife and your kids. And he's looking at me like, yeah, where is this going? And I'm like, explain this to me. I'm like, I heard you asking your girlfriend for money. Or like, your friend said that his girlfriend's are gonna pay like for the Cancun ticket. I'm like, what is going on? And he goes, oh, my girlfriend? He's like, that's not my wife. I'm not gonna marry her. I'm gonna provide for my wife and my kids. We're not gonna marry our girlfriends. They're just our girlfriends. I had to, I was like fuming at the mouth. Like I had to calm myself down and I'm like, Mina, just get your check and keep it moving. Okay, these are your clients, they're not your friends. Like I had to like literally sit there. Like I remember when the attorney that we used to use that was my mom's friend for all of our closing, when he came out in, he was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, you seem awfully quiet. And I'm like, no, 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 I'm good. Like I was like fuming on the inside for these women who clearly thought that they had hit the jackpot and they were dating all these wealthy men with nice ass cars, and they were wealthy men, but they had zero intention of marrying these women. These women were their time pass. These women were their placeholder. They were using these women because let me tell you these guys' schedule. Okay. These men would wake up. Some of them had full-time jobs. Some of them were like engineers and like tech, whatever. Like some of them, not all of them, some of them had jobs. They would go to work, they would get off, they would like go see properties with me, deal with like their property management issues, go and deal with the contractors in their business, go and deal with like rental issues, go and get like permits for their properties. So they had like these long days of work and they needed someone to relieve their stress in the evenings. So in the evenings, they would pick up these women in their fancy cars, their girlfriends, and they would take these girlfriends out to fancy dinners the girls would also they would pay their share because the way that I understood it, these men did not want these women taking from the mouth of their future wife and their children because they were just there for fun. So they had to pay their plane ticket. They had to, and here's the thing that was most disturbing to me. Because these men were providers for their future wives, they used a lot of terminology that enticed and hooked these women and kept them because they kept thinking, oh, they're going to provide for me once we're married. No, 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 no. They're going to provide for their wife and their future children once they're married. And by the way, in the 6 years that I did real estate and I knew these guys, eventually all of them got married one by one. None of them married their girlfriends. They all had nice little marriages to nice little women that their mom or their aunt or their grandma had picked for them. And then they proceeded to provide these women with mansions, nice cars, retirement, millions of dollars, safety, and security. So this is why they never intended to invest in those women, because every dollar that they would spend with her was taking from their future wife, and they love their future wife. That's their dream girl. They're not gonna let a peasant girl coming in being a girlfriend steal from their dream girl. So they would take sexual energy from these women by hanging out with them, sleeping with them, promising them things here and there, throwing them a dog bone here and there. You get to travel with me to Europe, just pay your ticket and just half of your hotel, and you get to sleep with me. Take their sexual energy and build empires for their future wife. So this is stupidity. It is peasantry. What did these women get? They had no feminine intelligence inside of them. And if anyone would ever question these men, they would say they wanted to be a girlfriend. This is what they signed up for. They like it. Look, they're paying half. And this is what a lot of women do happily. And those women could have waited around years. Those men had absolutely zero intention of marrying them. It wasn't about pressurizing them enough. It wasn't enough being sexier. It wasn't like if you could just cook. Like some of these women would like cook for these men. They were definitely paying their share. They would like pick up food on the way to their home for a booty call. So not only are they making it convenient, because I'll just come to you. Oh, you wanted me to pick up food on the way? Okay, I'll pick up food. You wanted me to pick up drinks? I'll pick up drinks. I remember one of these girls wasn't even allowed to. I'll tell you the story of how I know this. So one of the men that was buying real estate properties, he wanted me to meet up at one of his properties because he was thinking of listing this one and buying another one because he had some annoying tenants in it. So I show up, and he had told me that when you pull up, I might be a couple hours late, just park on this particular spot that he had told me to park at. When I pulled up there, that spot was taken. So this is Chicago, so you guys know it's not like you can just park somewhere else. Like parking is a bitch over there. So I kind of like just double parked, and I was like waiting for him to show up because he had told me where to park, and I couldn't park there. When he shows up, he gets out of his car and he's like angry. And I see his angry face. And for a second, I'm like, is he mad at me? And he gets out of his car. He walks up to that car that's parked in the spot that he had told me to park. And he knocks on the thing. And some woman, puts down the window, and he's having a conversation with her and he seems angry. And I'm trying to listen, like, what is going on? And then she pulls out and drives away. And then I pull in. So that woman was one of his girlfriends that comes over for a booty call, and she's not allowed to park in his parking spot. She has to find her own parking, even if she means that she has to walk through snow, walk through -25 weather in Chicago, walk back, do the walk of shame in the middle of the freaking night. Like, he doesn't care about that because he doesn't care about her. And he was saying to her, why do you have the audacity to park in my spot? That's not your spot. Get the hell out of here. So she pulled out, totally embarrassed, and left. And he was like, Mina, you can park over here. So I parked over there. And then he went and he showed me the building. And this is how they were treating these women. And these women were like just grasping at whatever they can get because they thought they had hit the jackpot with these provider men. But men put women in different categories. These women, like, why would a man make you like walk like in the middle of the night somewhere, like finding Chicago and parking in some of these neighborhoods in Chicago? Like, it's such a nightmare that I would refuse to go as a realtor unless my clients provided parking for me. There were times where I would show up, get out of the car, hand the key to my client, walk inside, and be like, go park my car if you want me to sell your property, because that's how much of a nightmare it was. And these women were doing this to have the opportunity to be with these men because they were their girlfriends. What a beautiful title. Yep, someone said this is sobering. I'm sick hearing this. Women realize too late the categories men put them in. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, I'm so glad that I got to see this firsthand because if I hadn't seen this, like it would have been something that I just read in books. But it was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. Mind blown, Lulu said. That's why being a girlfriend doesn't have an actual status. Nope, nowhere, nowhere. I can't tell you, even in my industry, in the coaching industry, I see women all day, every day in my industry, successful, brilliant, beautiful, badass women flaunting around their boyfriend. My boyfriend, my boyfriend, my boyfriend. Oh, my boyfriend's so cute. My boyfriend, my boyfriend. There was this one YouTuber, I think I shared the story with, that I used to follow back in the day, way back in the day. And she was from New York and she had that like New York accent. And every video, I liked her fashion sense, but this is the part that would drive me crazy. Every video, my guy got me this, and my guy got me that, and my guy, and I got my guy this, and my guy, my guy, my guy, my guy. Guy literally means cow in Urdu in my language, and you're fucking cow. Like, what is this cow doing for you? And she was just flaunting it like it's some trophy. When did this become a trophy? The easiest thing for women to do is to have a man. It's the only thing that we had to do for millions of years. That is not an accomplishment. It's the easiest freaking thing. If you walked outside and said, any guy available, there's plenty of men. Because it's the easiest thing for a woman to get a man. It's the thing that it's the most natural for her. When she's in her power, obviously. When she's forgotten, she's acting like a man, it's a different story. The reason that now women have a hard time getting men is because they're acting like men. Men have always had a hard time finding partners. Women have never had a hard time finding partners. So any woman that shows up flaunting a man, my boyfriend, my boyfriend, my guy, my boyfriend, he was homeless and now he's rich because I gave him money. What? How is this a badge of honor? How is this a status symbol? Men being in the presence of women used to elevate their status by being in your presence. Any man, imagine a music video with no women in it, right? Why are rappers, NBA players, NFL players, why are successful men or men trying to portray success, if they're not successful, always surrounding themselves with women? Because women are the badge of honor. They elevate your status. Saying that you have a boyfriend who's literally milking you like a cow is not that maybe that's why they call him guy. Because he's milking you, honey, for your life force energy so that he can give it to his future wife and children. The worst for me, this is the worst of the bottom feeders. Like, this is the worst. First of all, you shouldn't be giving your life force energy to any man that's not your husband. But if you're going to do it, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you're going to do it, can you at least give it to someone that's going to use it? Meaning, give it to a successful man that is going to build more success. Some of you guys are giving it to homeless ass men who have no potential, no ability to do anything with that life force energy. Okay? It's like giving someone a meal that's hungry and that's going to eat it and use that energy versus giving someone a meal who's going to take it and throw it in the trash. Why are you cooking for men that are going to throw it in the trash? First of all, you shouldn't be giving your life force energy to any man that's not your husband. But if you had to, why on earth would you give it to someone that doesn't even have the ability to metabolize it? Because they're addicted to porn, they're addicted to video games, they have zero drive, zero ambition to do anything with it. Why are you giving it to that guy? Why? That's just the worst. It breaks my heart to see women just giving up their life force energy to that guy. At least if you give it to someone, he's still robbing you and stealing it from you, but at least he built something from it. Someday when you're sitting on the couch as an old lady, you can be like, oh, you know, that successful man who's providing for his family, I did that. And hope that you get something from Barkat at least for that. At least it gets written somewhere in there for you. But no, you're going to go give it to the person that can't even freaking metabolize your life force energy. He's got nothing. And then you're going to wear it as a badge of honor. Why? Why? We make them look good. Nobody wants them if we don't want them. That's true. It's true. At least give it, if you're going to someone who knows how to metabolize it. I agree 1000%. Learned this the hard way, but you're spot on. Most ads have women. Yep. Women are the the creatrix of abundance, we're the holders of abundance, we're the spenders of abundance, we're the like we just are Lakshmi. We are abundance. Question, Mina, my baby, his dad and I all live together and I don't pay any bills and can homeschool. He has not married me. What to do? Well, did you say to him, in order to use my womb and my DNA, marriage is the requirement of entry? Did you say that to him? And then did you abide by that? Okay, obviously not. So does he even know that you are a woman of that standard? Does he even know that? Because a lot of times we blame men. So you said, yes, I did. Okay. So when you said that, why did you go against your standards? Why did you make a baby with a man that's not your husband? Why did you lay down with a man that is not your husband? So what you have said to him is that I don't stand up for myself. I don't abide by my standards. So why should he? Why should he abide by your standards when you don't abide by your standards? And if your standards have changed, have you communicated that to him and then changed your standards? Like actually done things that align with your standards? When we don't hold our own standards, why should men? I love it when Mina gets on this because it's like my big sister fussing some sense into me over and over. I will never forget. It's almost 2 years that I've woken up forever grateful. I love that for you, babe. New standards, new standards. And the thing is, I don't even want to call them new standards because these have always been the female standards in every species. Only in the last 1 or 2 generations did we bend them, and now look at the consequences. We are dealing with the consequences of them. Men don't respect us anymore. Predators are taking advantage of us. I talk a lot about setting up yourself so that you are not a match for predators in this book. If I have a desire, oops, I think I lost that question. Do you feel it's just as bad to be a girlfriend if you're not sleeping with a man? If you're trying to convince me of some magical intersection or place where I'm going to be like, ooh, in that situation, you should be a girlfriend, good luck. Because I can't think of any situation where it would be good to be any man's girlfriend. They're always winning. We already know that if you are with a man, you elevate him, you raise him, you improve his looks, you improve his dressing style, you improve his ability to manifest, unless you chose like the bottom feeders, which they don't know how to metabolize feminine energy, so they're not going to even do anything with it, which is the worst, the worst. Okay. But you end up with men, they take your energy. So you're making yourself sicker, uglier, fatter, less wealthier with being with men that are just taking your energy and not pouring into you. So good luck convincing me that there is some magical situation where it makes sense. I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe I haven't heard of it. People have tried to convince me. Good luck. My mother never taught me this, and I lost my grandmother before I was even out of school. You teach things my spirit knew, but westernized pressure and curiosity got me. I am teaching this to my daughter. That's the thing. Unfortunately, God has had very poor marketing. Okay. God has given us brilliant marketing, but God itself has had very poor marketing. And because of that, God fell out of fashion. And when God fell out of fashion, the teachings of God, the commandments, the ways of living, all of the things got forgotten. Everything I teach you, religion has always been saying, but people have marketed it poorly. The people that's supposed to be channeling the stuff started fear mongering and teaching you in ways that didn't make sense to your soul. They started teaching it to you in a way where there was no scientific backing to it, even though we've had science for the last 500 years. They forgot to update themselves. Now I'm actually teaching religious organizations. I can't tell you how many religious organizations, after finding my work, are now using science in their sermons, in their teachings, and now attracting people back again. Because with every generation, you have to be able to change your language according to how they speak. For example, I'm targeting self-aware Barbies with this book. That's why it needs to be called Lady Balls and not ovarian power or chakra power, right? So you have to use appropriate language. Today's generation is super sophisticated. They like science. They need to understand that this is not something that's just sinful for sinful sake, that there is a reason that they shouldn't be doing it, that it takes something away from their being. It takes something away from their sacredness. It takes something away from their hormones, from their life force. They need that science. How to have female power with my uncles and grandfather. They treat me like a maid. They are old and I care for them, but it is too much. They do love me, but abuse. So just say no. Just say get it yourself. Just say I read a study that older men that move around a lot become younger. You're going to be younger if you go get it yourself. Just say no. Like, don't ever blame someone else for things that you're agreeing to. That's not feminine power. Feminine power is, wow, I can't believe I'm co-signing this. I can't believe I'm agreeing to this. That's feminine power because now you're like, what the hell's wrong with me that I'm agreeing to this nonsense? Even in AA meetings, God is the foundation of getting healthy and sober. Yep. We need to be able to merge those two realms. We need to be able to bring the human self, the animal self, the savage self, the earthly plane with the divinity, the quantum, the God field. We need to be able to do both. This is one of the biggest issues that I see with the love light community. They go to love light, to consciousness, and then they lose us. Do you know that I can't follow anyone for too long when they're all like love and light? I'm just like, where's the money? Where's the savage? Like you're boring me. Like love and light, like what else? That's boring. That's not sexy. I fell asleep 2 minutes ago. Like boring. Okay? Can you still be human and be talking about love and light? Can you talk about savage and love and light? Can you be grounded and talk about really deep spiritual concepts? Are you in la la land? That bores the shit out of me. It's so confusing to me. But that's what a lot of them do. And then I'm just like, that's not exciting. That's not fun. You want me to be broke in love and light and turn the other cheek? No. How about I just slap your ass? Not turn the other cheek. That's you moving with both. Because you chose to incarnate here on this planet, right? That means that you are having a human experience. So unless you're bringing both forth with you and walking with both, you just sound like some weird hippie person on drugs sitting on a mountain talking about love and light. Boring. I'm grieving the life force energy that I wasted from 18 to 36. Think of it as charity, write it off on your taxes and move on. I'm not 38 and blessed to have, I'm now 38, I think. I'm blessed to have it in abundance still, but what precious youth wasted. You know what? If it's gone, my mom used to say, write it off in your taxes. You donated it and move on. Like, get over it quickly. Because, like, the more energetic pull it still has on you, it's still an open window. So be like, I did some charity, write it off, get your refund, move on. Right, I need something concrete that gets results. Yep, you know I love me some results. This live is slapping me in the face. I love the savage energy. Yay! I love it. I love it that you're here for it. Hold the embodiment of your worthiness. Yes. You're so welcome, Nicole. Whatever we put forth, whether it's a song, it's a smile, it's a course, it's a book, anything we put forth, any good we've done on the planet, it comes back to us in Barkat. God compounds it for us, right? I talked about this in my Barkat course. So all you have to do is energetically write it off. Even if it wasn't your intention to give it, if you've already given it, there's no point as crying over spilled milk, especially if it's zapping your current life force energy and keeping you from manifesting, write that bitch off, let it go, and move on. Don't do it again. Give more intentionally this time. What we aren't changing, we are allowing. Yes. Build people up. With men, sometimes you got to be like, you're so strong, you're so young, aren't you so wonderful? Go and pick that up for yourself. In fact, while you're there, can you grab me a soda from the fridge? Like, treat them like they're young and make them young again. Oh my God, there is actually a study. Oh, this was so fun. I thought it was freaking hilarious. Going back to the uncle and whoever else was trying to use her. There was this study. This was so brilliant, where they took these older men. So these men were kind of like in their, I think they were like 70s and 80s. I don't remember the exact details, but I'll never freaking forget this study. It's hilarious. So these were older men who were like getting old, right? Because they're older men. And because they were getting old, they were behaving in a certain old men way. And so what these researchers did is they invited them to the study, and they told them this location where they had to come. But what they did is this location had been recreated to a time frame that represented these men's youth. So I don't know what the time frame they chose, but let's assume that these men were 80. We're going to modify the details so I can like get to the point here. Let's assume that these men were 80 and they were in their prime when they were 35 or whatever. Like they were strong, they were healthy, right? So whatever that year was when these men were supposed to be in their mid 30s, they changed this location to look like that. And then when the men arrived there, they made the men dress like they would have dressed in the period of that time. Okay, everyone still with me? Let me know. Okay, so give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the chat if you're following me along. What happened will shock you, because these men were getting these physical clues from their environment that they were back in this era when they used to be in their 30s, and there were expectations placed on them by the researchers. So when they arrived there, the men had to carry their own suitcases up the staircase. They like the people at this facility were not treating them like they're 80. They were treating them like they're 35. Guess what happened in this study? Okay, these men started showcasing more physical strength. Their testosterone levels increased. They started walking up and down the staircase as if they were in their 30s. They started having movements, posture, like I think it's called like agility, like their body and their energy started behaving like they were in their mid 30s, because that is what their environment was reminding them, and that is what their environment was expecting of them, and their actual physiology inside started changing. Their hormones levels started changing to match that, and that is what happens with environment. So if you are living with old people and you remind them that they're old, they're gonna start like old, they're gonna start acting like old people. But if their physical environment sees them as capable, sees them as young, sees them as alive, sees them as vibrant, then that's what they will behave accordingly. So if you want to make old people act young again, treat them as if they're young. This is an actual study, by the way. I'm not making this shit up. It's so good. I loved it. I was like, yes. Reminds me of the story of an elderly man who killed an intruder with his bare hands. Oh my God, I had not heard of that, but sounds about right. This is so incredible. So I just, someone said, I remember that study. It was college. It started my journey of mindset changing my reality. Yep. That's why you got to go to college. You learn stuff you wouldn't actually learn in the real world. Like, it's so good. Now I'm thinking of how to use this with my 89-year-old 89-year-old mother. Girl, yes. If you treat them as if they're not capable, as if they're not old, as if they're not like, as if they're young, they're gonna act accordingly. We inform them how they should treat us. We inform them how they should behave. Inform them better. Inform them in a way that gets you results, that serves you, that helps you. That's why I hate it when women victimize themselves, because I'm just like, you're being a peasant right now. Like, quit it and like fix it. You have the power. Fix it. Change your energy, change what you're throwing out from you, what you're projecting, and then you're going to get a different result. Louise Hay says, time spent regretting the past is more time wasted. Exactly. My mom used to say the same thing. Yep. Tears, truly, wholeheartedly, thank you for your time and attention to my heart. Oceans and oceans more blessing to you. Amen. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. All of you guys can use this. By the way, I think we only have an hour or two left for the pre-order price for Fame. You need to be in there. This is really, really expansive energy training. Like, I'm going to teach you to be able to expand your energy in a way that I've never taught before, like next level stuff. Like that's why I'm calling it Fame, because that's Fame is the ultimate container, right? So it's frequencies, activations, manifestations, and energetics. It's so good. It's like my quantum coursework. It's like manifest, but like next level. You need to be in it. I'm so excited. I've literally started saying that to myself at times after starting to follow you. Stop being a peasant and get your act together. I love that. That's the title of my next book. Stop being a peasant. I'm so excited for that one. But right now, we are celebrating her. 1111 girls. Super excited. On 1111, you can go to Amazon and just in the description where you search for stuff, just put Mina Irfan and she will show up. All right, ladies, thank you so much for hanging out. I had so much fun. Um, Fame pre-order price ends in the next couple of hours. In fact, let me make sure because I think, has it already changed? Let me just make sure that that is correct. Just give me a second. Okay, it's ended, but I'll extend it for a couple more hours because I've just been telling you that it's there and it's not. Okay, let me go ahead and extend it for you guys now. So the pre-order price will be there for a couple hours more because some of you guys just heard me saying it and then it's not. Okay, there you go. It's done. Thank you, everyone. I had so much fun. This was a delicious live. Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I love you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.